Ryan Hayes had worked for Olivia Carter for 6 years. 6 years was long enough to know every habit she had. She drank black coffee when she was stressed. She tapped her pen 3 times when she was thinking. She stayed in the office until midnight whenever a project mattered. And she never showed weakness. At least not in front of anyone. Everyone at Carter International knew Olivia Carter, the youngest CEO in the industry, the woman who had built a company worth billions before the age of 35. The woman investors called the Ice Queen. But Ryan knew another Olivia, the woman who secretly hated thunderstorms, the woman who forgot to eat when she was focused, the woman who once fell asleep on his shoulder after working for 30 hours straight, the woman he had loved quietly for 6 years, though she never knew. Everyone, I have an announcement. Olivia stood at the center of the conference room. The entire executive team looked at her. Ryan stood at the back, like always, not because he had to, but because he was used to being there behind her, supporting her, waiting for her. Olivia smiled, a rare smile. I am engaged. The room exploded with congratulations. Congratulations, CEO Carter. That's wonderful news. Who is the lucky man? Ryan froze, only for a second, but enough. His fingers tightened around the folder in his hand. Engaged. The word repeated in his mind. Olivia was getting married. Someone asked, Olivia, when did this happen? Olivia looked down at the ring on her finger. Recently. Her expression softened. He proposed unexpectedly. Everyone smiled. Ryan looked away because he couldn't watch. The meeting continued. Business plans, wedding discussions, congratulations. But Ryan heard none of it. All he could think about was one thing. He had spent 6 years waiting, 6 years hoping, 6 years believing that maybe one day she would look at him differently. Apparently, he was wrong. After the meeting ended, Ryan returned to his office, the office beside Olivia's, the office he had spent years working in. He opened the drawer. Inside were small things. A coffee receipt from the first time she thanked him. A photo from a company event. A note she once wrote. Ryan, thank you for always being there. He smiled sadly. Always being there. That was the problem. I had always been there, but I was never the person she chose. At 6 p.m. Ryan walked into Olivia's office. She looked up. Ryan, you haven't congratulated me. He smiled. Congratulations, CEO Carter. She frowned slightly. That's it. What else should I say? She looked at him, and for some reason, his calm expression bothered her. Everyone else had been excited. Everyone else had celebrated. But Ryan looked like he was saying goodbye. Ryan, are you upset? The question surprised him. For 6 years, she had never asked how he felt. He almost laughed. No, then why do you look like that? Like what? Like you're leaving. Silence. Ryan looked at her. The woman he loved. The woman who would soon belong to someone else. And finally, he decided to stop waiting. Maybe I am. Her expression changed. What? He placed an envelope on her desk. She looked down. What is this? My resignation. For the first time, Olivia went still. Your resignation? Yes. Ryan smiled. I think it's time. Time for what? Time for me to find my own life. She stared at him. You're my most important employee. Ryan nodded. I know. Then why leave? Because I love you. Because watching you marry someone else hurts. Because I can't spend another 6 years standing beside you while wishing you would turn around. But he didn't say any of that. Instead, he simply answered, because I want someone who chooses me. That sentence silenced Olivia. She looked at the resignation letter, then at him. You already made this decision. Yes. When? Before your announcement. Her eyes changed. You knew. Ryan nodded. I knew I needed to leave. For some reason. That answer unsettled her more than she expected. Ryan. Yes. She wanted to ask. Why are you leaving so easily? Why don't you fight? Why don't you ask me to choose you? But she couldn't, because she had already chosen someone else. Your resignation is accepted. The words came out colder than she intended. Ryan nodded. Thank you. He turned around, reached the door, then stopped. Olivia looked up. Congratulations, he said, and a sincere smile appeared. I hope you're happy. After the door closed, Olivia stared at the empty room. For the first time in 6 years, nobody was waiting outside her office. No coffee, no reminders, no quiet voice saying, "Don't forget dinner." That night, Ryan packed his apartment. No dramatic goodbye, no anger, just leaving. He was finally choosing himself. At 11:47 p.m. someone knocked on his door. Ryan froze. Nobody knew he lived here. Nobody. Except, he opened the door and forgot how to breathe. Standing outside was Olivia Carter, the woman who had announced her engagement that morning. The woman who was supposed to be preparing for her wedding. She was wearing a wedding dress. Her hair was slightly messy. Her eyes were red. She looked nothing like the powerful CEO everyone knew. She looked like someone who had run through the entire city just to find him. Ryan stared. "Olivia." She looked at him for several seconds. Neither of them spoke. Then she whispered, "Ryan." Her voice trembled. "I think I made a mistake." The woman who had everything was standing at his door in a wedding dress, looking at him like he was the only choice left. Then she said, "Can I marry you instead?" Ryan didn't move for several seconds. He simply stared at her. Olivia Carter, the woman who had announced her engagement that morning, was standing outside his apartment in a wedding dress, asking him, "Can I marry you instead?" It should have been the happiest sentence he had ever heard. The sentence he had dreamed about for 6 years. The sentence he once thought he would wait forever to hear. But now it felt different. "Olivia." Her eyes trembled. "Yes, why are you here?" The question surprised her. Not because she didn't have an answer, but because she had too many. She looked down at the wedding dress. The dress she was supposed to wear tomorrow. The dress everyone expected her to wear. The dress she had chosen without knowing what she actually wanted. "I don't know how to explain." Ryan stepped aside. "Come in." She entered his apartment. It was simple, much simpler than her penthouse. A small sofa, a small kitchen, a few books, no luxury, no assistants, no employees, just Ryan. She looked around. "You live here?" He nodded. "Yes, for 6 years. Yes." She went quiet because suddenly she realized she knew everything about his work, but almost nothing about his life. "Ryan, why didn't you tell me?" "Tell you what?" "That I was leaving." He smiled faintly. "I did." "No." She shook her head. "You told me after you decided." "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me before?" Ryan looked at her. Would it have changed anything? The question hit her. She didn't know. And that was the answer. 6 years. Ryan had been beside her every day. But when he decided to leave, she had no idea what he was thinking. No idea what he wanted. No idea what he needed. "Ryan." She took a step closer. "I didn't know." "I know." "I didn't realize." "I know." "I didn't see." "I know." His calm answers hurt more than anger would have. Because he wasn't blaming her. He had already accepted it. "Do you love me?" The question came suddenly. Ryan froze. Olivia looked at him. "I need to know." Silence. Then Ryan smiled sadly. "Does it matter?" Her expression changed. "Of course it matters." "No." He shook his head. "Because if I loved you and you still chose someone else, would that change anything?" Olivia couldn't answer. For 6 years, Ryan had hidden everything. His feelings, his pain, his hope, and she had never noticed. "Ryan." Her voice softened. "Who did you think I was marrying?" He looked at her. "Someone you loved." She lowered her eyes. "I thought I did." The words shocked him. "You thought." Olivia sat down slowly. She looked exhausted. Not physically, but emotionally. "His name is Alexander." Ryan nodded. "The investor?" "Yes." "The man your board wanted you to marry." She looked surprised. "You knew." "I know everything about your company." He paused. "That's my job." But Olivia knew that wasn't the real reason. Ryan always knew because he cared. Alexander was perfect. She stared at the floor. Perfect family. Perfect background. Perfect for the company. Ryan stayed silent. Everyone said he was the right choice. "Then why aren't you with him?" The question was simple, but she struggled to answer. "Because when I stood there today, with everyone congratulating me, I looked at the ring and suddenly I didn't feel happy." Ryan's expression shifted slightly. "I kept thinking someone should be standing beside me. Someone who knows how I take my coffee. Someone who knows when I'm pretending to be okay. Someone who has been there every time I turn around. Her voice grew quieter. And then I realized the person I was looking for was never Alexander. Ryan looked away. Hearing that was both painful and beautiful. Then why didn't you tell me before? The question finally came. Not angry, just hurt. Olivia closed her eyes. Because I thought you'd always be there. Silence. That answer hurt the most because it was true. Ryan had been the safest person in her life. So safe that she forgot he could leave. I was wrong. She whispered. I know. No. She looked at him. I was wrong about you. She stood. Walked closer. I'm sorry. Ryan looked at her. The CEO who never apologized was apologizing. But Ryan didn't immediately forgive her. Not because he didn't love her, but because he loved her too much. Olivia. Yes. If I say yes tonight. Her eyes filled with hope. Will you still choose me tomorrow? She froze. Because tomorrow you might wake up. You might remember your company, your reputation, your plans, and realize you made a mistake because you were emotional. Olivia shook her head. No, Ryan. She stepped closer. I didn't come here because I was emotional. Then why? Because today, when I was supposed to marry someone else, I realized the only person I wanted to see was you. Ryan looked at her. She touched the wedding dress. I wore this dress for someone I thought I should love. Then she looked at him. But I came here because I finally found the person I do love. The room went silent. Ryan wanted to believe her. Every part of him wanted to. But 6 years of waiting had taught him one thing. Love was not just a feeling. It was a choice. Stay tonight. Olivia looked surprised. Ryan, not as my fiancé, not as my future wife. Just stay. She nodded slowly. Okay. That night, for the first time in 6 years, Ryan and Olivia sat together without discussing work. No contracts, no meetings, no titles, just two people. At midnight, Olivia quietly asked, if I had never announced that engagement, would you have left? He thought for a long time, then answered honestly, yes. Her heart tightened. Because I realized I was disappearing. She looked at him. You weren't happy. I was. Ryan smiled. I loved being beside you, but I wanted someone who wanted me beside them. Olivia lowered her eyes, then whispered, I do. Ryan looked at her. She repeated, I want you beside me. For the first time, the Ice Queen CEO wasn't asking him to stay as an employee. She was asking him to stay as the person she loved. But Ryan still had one question. The question that would decide everything. Olivia, yes. If I choose you, are you ready to choose me, even if I'm no longer your employee? Her eyes met his. Without hesitation, she answered, yes. And for the first time that night, Ryan believed her. The next morning, Ryan woke up earlier than usual. 6 years of habit. Wake up. Prepare Olivia's schedule. Check her meetings. Make sure she had coffee. Remind her to eat. Except today, there was no schedule to prepare, no meetings to organize, no reason to wake up before sunrise. He sat on the edge of the bed, quietly, for the first time in 6 years. His morning belonged to him, and somehow that felt strange. A knock came from the door. Ryan froze. He already knew who it was. Nobody else would come this early. He opened the door. Olivia stood outside. No wedding dress today. No CEO suit. Just a simple coat and 2 coffees. Ryan stared. Olivia. She held one coffee toward him. Your coffee. He looked at it. Black. No sugar. Exactly how he took it. How did you know? She looked slightly embarrassed. I've known for 6 years. Ryan went quiet. She had known. She had always known. She just hadn't realized what it meant. Can I come in? He stepped aside. Yes. She entered. Looked around. Then smiled slightly. You really live simply. Ryan laughed. Is that a problem? No. She shook her head. I think I like it. They sat across from each other. For a moment, neither knew what to say. The situation was strange. Yesterday, she was an engaged CEO. Today, she was sitting in his apartment, trying to win back a man she had almost lost. Finally, Olivia spoke. I called off the engagement. Ryan looked up. What? I ended it. You mean, you canceled it? His expression changed. Because of me. She shook her head. No, because of me. The answer surprised him. I spent my entire life making decisions based on what was best. The best school, the best company strategy, the best partner. She looked at him, but I never asked what made me happy. Ryan stayed silent. When I was with Alexander, I was successful. Everyone approved. But when I imagined my future, I couldn't see myself smiling. She looked down at her hands. But when I imagined leading Carter International, I saw you. When I imagined a difficult day, I saw you. When I imagined coming home, I saw you. Her voice softened. That's when I knew. Ryan looked at her. Olivia, do you know what scares me? She waited. That you're choosing me because you lost something. Her eyes changed. What do you mean? You lost your engagement. You lost the future everyone planned for you. Maybe you're choosing me because I'm the only thing left. For a moment, Olivia was silent. Then she stood, walked to him, and looked directly into his eyes. Ryan, if tomorrow you became completely ordinary, no money, no position, no connection to me, she placed her hand over his. Would I still choose you? He didn't answer. She did. Yes, because I didn't fall in love with your ability. I didn't fall in love with your work. I didn't fall in love with what you could give me. She smiled sadly. I fell in love with the person who remembered I hated thunderstorms. The person who brought me food when I forgot meals. The person who stayed after everyone else left. Ryan's eyes softened. I just realized it too late. She whispered, I was looking for a husband, but the person I already trusted was you. Olivia did something nobody expected. She returned to Carter International, not as Ryan's boss, but to announce something. The entire executive meeting room went silent. Olivia stood at the front. Effective immediately, Ryan Hayes is no longer my assistant. Everyone looked surprised. She continued, he is no longer responsible for managing my schedule, no longer responsible for arranging my meetings, no longer responsible for standing behind me. A pause. Because he will not stand behind me anymore. He will stand beside me. Everyone understood. After the meeting, Daniel caught Ryan outside. I have one question. Ryan smiled. What? Did the CEO just choose you? Ryan laughed. I think so. Daniel shook his head. The world is changing. Later that evening, Ryan found Olivia waiting outside the building. You waited. She nodded. Yes. Because before, you always waited for me. She looked at him. Now it's my turn. They walked toward the parking lot. Ryan stopped. Olivia, you know this won't be easy. I know people will talk. I know your family may disagree. I know your board may object. I know. He looked at her. Then why? She smiled. Because for 6 years, you chose me every day. She held out her hand. Now I want to choose you. Ryan looked at her hand, then took it. That night, the company group chat exploded. Not because of business news, but because everyone received a photo. Olivia Carter, the Ice Queen CEO, walking hand in hand with Ryan Hayes. The caption read, some people spend years looking for the right person. Some people realize the right person was already there. But the biggest surprise came the next morning when Ryan arrived at work. He found Olivia standing outside his office, holding a folder. What's this? She handed it to him. My resignation. Ryan froze. What? She smiled. I can't be your boss anymore. She looked at him. I don't want the first thing you see every morning to be your CEO. She stepped closer. I want to be your wife. Ryan stared at her. You're serious? Very. You're really quitting? She nodded. Yes. To marry you. She smiled. Exactly. For the first time, Ryan understood. This wasn't Olivia running away from something. This was Olivia running toward him. And this time, she was choosing him. Ryan thought Olivia Carter was fearless. He was wrong. She was fearless in business, fearless in negotiations, fearless when facing thousands of people. But when it came to dating, she had no idea what she was doing. The first sign appeared on Monday morning. Ryan received a message from Olivia. Are you free tonight? He smiled. Yes. A few seconds later, another message. Good. I arranged our evening. Ryan paused, then replied, a meeting. The answer came instantly. No. A date. Ryan couldn't help laughing. Olivia had scheduled a date like a business meeting. That evening, Ryan arrived at the restaurant and stopped. Olivia was already there waiting, not sitting in a private room, not surrounded by assistants, just a normal table by the window. You came early. She looked up. I didn't want you waiting. Ryan smiled. That's new. What? For 6 years. I was always waiting for you. A small guilty expression appeared on her face. I know. She looked at him. I'm sorry. Ryan sat down. You don't have to apologize every time. I do. Because I spent 6 years receiving your kindness. And I thought it was normal. That sentence made Ryan quiet. It was the first time Olivia truly understood. Dinner was simple. No expensive wine. No private chef. No business conversations. Just 2 people. After dinner, they walked through the city. Olivia looked around. People passing by, couples laughing. Streetlights. Small shops. She seemed curious. Ryan noticed. You haven't done this before. Done what? Just walked. She shook her head. My schedule was always full because of work. Because I thought. She paused. I thought if I stopped, I would lose everything. Ryan looked at her. Now I know some things are worth stopping for. The next morning, something unusual happened at Carter International. Everyone noticed. Olivia arrived without her usual stern expression. She was smiling. Mia immediately noticed. CEO Carter. Olivia looked up. Yes, you went on a date. It wasn't a question. Olivia froze. How did you know? Mia smiled. Because you've been smiling at the same document for 10 minutes. Olivia looked down. She was holding a blank page. Was it good? Mia asked. Olivia thought seriously, then nodded. Yes. How good? She smiled. I forgot to check my phone. Mia was shocked. For Olivia, that was almost impossible. Meanwhile, Ryan was having lunch with Daniel. Daniel looked at him. So, how was your date? Ryan smiled. Good. Just good. Daniel laughed. Very good. Daniel nodded. Then why do you look worried? Ryan went quiet. Because I don't want her to do this because she feels guilty. Daniel understood. You're afraid she'll wake up one day and realize she made a mistake. Ryan nodded. That evening, Ryan told Olivia, I need to ask you something. She looked serious. What? Why me? She frowned. I already answered. Answer again. Because I need to hear it. Olivia was quiet. Then she said, because you were the only person who never tried to impress me. Ryan looked at her. Everyone wanted something from me. My position. My company. My approval. But you. She smiled. You just wanted me to eat lunch. Ryan laughed softly. That was your standard. No. She shook her head. That was proof. Proof of what? That you cared about Olivia. Not CEO Carter. She took his hand. And I think I fell in love with you slowly. Every day. A little more. Ryan looked at their hands. Then smiled. I think I did too. 1 month later, the company received another shocking announcement. Not about mergers. Not about investments. But about Olivia. The employees discovered something unbelievable. The former Ice Queen CEO was learning to cook. Daniel looked at Ryan. Did you teach her? Ryan shook his head. No. Then why? He smiled. Because she asked. That evening, Ryan arrived at Olivia's apartment. The kitchen looked like a disaster zone. Ingredients were everywhere. Olivia stood there proudly. I made dinner. Ryan looked at the table. Are you sure this is safe? She narrowed her eyes. Ryan, I am offended. He laughed. Sorry. He tasted the food. Paused. Olivia immediately became nervous. Bad? No. Really? Then why did you stop? Ryan smiled. Because I was surprised. By what? You made this. Her expression softened. That was exactly what she wanted. Not praise. Not perfection. Recognition. I know I'm not good at these things. She said quietly. I know I don't know how to be a normal girlfriend. Ryan walked closer. Olivia, you don't have to become someone else. Then what? Just keep being the woman who is trying. She looked at him. Even when I burn dinner. Especially then. She laughed. Later that night, they sat on the balcony. Olivia rested her head on his shoulder. Ryan, yes, I used to think marriage meant finding someone suitable. She smiled. Now I think marriage means finding someone you don't want to lose. Ryan held her hand. And I almost lost you. The words were quiet but honest. Ryan looked at her. You won't. How do you know? Because this time. He smiled. You aren't choosing because everyone expects you to. You're choosing because you want to. Olivia closed her eyes. For 6 years, Ryan had been the person standing behind her. Now she was learning how to stand beside him. And for the first time, she wasn't afraid of losing control, because she had finally found something more important. Person worth choosing. The Carter family dinner was never peaceful. At least not when Olivia was involved. The moment Olivia entered the private dining room, she knew something was wrong. Her father was there, her mother, several family board members, and sitting at the end of the table, Alexander, the man she had almost married. Ryan stood beside her, not behind, not as her assistant, beside her, and everyone noticed. Her father's expression darkened. Olivia, he looked at Ryan, then back at her. Is this necessary? Olivia's eyes went cold. What? Bringing him here? Ryan remained calm, but Olivia felt his hand tighten slightly in hers. Only slightly. Most people wouldn't notice. She did. His name is Ryan. Her father frowned. I know his name. Then use it. Silence. Nobody spoke to Carter Sr. that way, except his daughter. They sat down. The atmosphere was heavy. Finally, her father spoke. Olivia, you are the CEO of Carter International. I know you represent this family. I know. Then you should understand. He looked at Ryan. This relationship is complicated. Ryan smiled slightly. Mr. Carter, I understand. Her father looked at him. Do you? Yes. I don't come from your family. I don't need your company's support. I don't need your approval. Everyone went quiet. Ryan continued. But I do need one thing. What? He looked at Olivia. Her choice. Olivia's heart moved. That was exactly who Ryan was. He never wanted to win against people. He only wanted to be chosen. Alexander finally spoke. Ryan. Everyone looked at him. You should think carefully. This world isn't as simple as you think. Ryan looked at him. I know. Do you? Alexander smiled. Olivia's life is complicated. Her position, her responsibilities, her future. You cannot just love her. You have to stand beside her. Before Ryan could answer, Olivia spoke. No. Everyone looked at her. You're wrong. She looked at Alexander. Ryan has stood beside me for 6 years. Before anyone knew his name. Before anyone respected him. Before anyone thought he was important. She turned toward her family. He was there. Her father frowned. Olivia, do you know what you're giving up? She looked at him. What? Your future. A long silence. Then Olivia smiled. I spent my entire life building a future everyone wanted. Perfect company. Perfect reputation. Perfect marriage. Her voice softened. But nobody asked if I was happy. Everyone went silent. She reached for Ryan's hand. This time in front of everyone. I was wrong once. I chose what looked right, not what felt right. She looked directly at her father. I won't make that mistake again. Her father's expression changed. You would choose him. Yes. Even if it affects the company. Yes. Even if people criticize you. Yes. The answers came without hesitation. Because Ryan never asked me to choose between him and my life. He only asked me to choose him honestly. Ryan looked at her. This was different. Before, he had protected her. Now she was protecting him. After dinner, they left early. Outside the mansion, Ryan stopped. Olivia, you didn't have to do that. She turned. Do what? Fight with your family. She smiled. Yes, I did. Because for 6 years, you stood in front of problems for me. She stepped closer. Now it's my turn. Ryan looked at her. You really changed. She smiled. Maybe, or maybe. She held his hand. I finally stopped hiding. That night, something unexpected happened. Olivia received a message from her father. Only one sentence. Bring him home tomorrow. She stared at the message. Ryan noticed. What happened? She showed him. He was surprised. Your father wants to see me. She nodded. Are you nervous? Ryan smiled. A little. She raised an eyebrow. You? Yes. Because I care what your family thinks. Olivia smiled. The old Olivia would have thought that was weakness. The new Olivia understood it was love. The next day, Ryan arrived at the Carter family estate. But this time, he didn't come as Olivia's assistant. He didn't come as her employee. He came as the man she chose. Her father looked at him for a long time, then asked, "Why should I trust you with my daughter?" Ryan answered calmly, "Because I don't want to own her. I don't want her company. I don't want her power. I only want to spend my life making sure she never feels alone again." The room went silent. For the first time, Carter Sr. didn't see an employee. He saw the man who had been protecting his daughter all along. After Ryan left, her father looked at Olivia. "You love him?" It wasn't a question. She nodded. "Yes." A long silence. Then he sighed. "Your mother will hate that you were right." Olivia blinked. "What?" A small smile appeared. "Because she always said the only man who could handle you would be the one patient enough to wait." That evening, Ryan received a message from Olivia. "My father approves." He smiled. Then another message arrived. "But more importantly, do you still choose me?" Ryan immediately replied, "Every day." And that was the difference. Before, Ryan had spent 6 years waiting for Olivia to choose him. Now they chose each other every single day. 3 months later, the wedding preparations began. Everyone expected Olivia Carter to handle it like a business project. Detailed schedule, perfect planning, every possible problem solved in advance. But everyone was wrong, because Olivia had changed. The first surprise: she didn't choose the biggest wedding venue. She chose a small garden. Ryan asked why. She smiled. "Because I don't want people to remember how expensive our wedding was." "Then what?" "I want us to remember how happy we were." The second surprise: she refused to let her company organize everything. No assistants, no business partners, no media. Mia looked shocked. "CEO Carter." Olivia looked at her. "Yes, you're actually refusing attention." Olivia smiled. "I spent enough time being seen by everyone." She looked at Ryan. "Now I just want to be seen by one person." But the biggest surprise came 1 week before the wedding. Ryan walked into Olivia's office and found her looking at a document. Her expression was serious. "What is that?" She quickly closed it. "Nothing." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Olivia." She sighed. "You always notice everything. Because it's you." She handed him the document. Ryan looked down. His expression changed. "Your resignation." She nodded. "I'm leaving Carter International." She looked at him. "Because I want a normal life with you." Ryan went silent. "Olivia, is this because of me?" She frowned. "No." "Are you sure?" "Yes." She sat down. "For my entire life, I have been Olivia Carter. CEO. Everyone expects something from me. Investors, family, employees." She looked at him. "But with you, I don't have to prove anything." Ryan understood. But he also understood something else. "You can't quit." Her eyes widened. "What? You heard me. But why?" "Because you love what you do." She was quiet. Ryan sat beside her. "Olivia, the woman I fell in love with was not someone who wanted to disappear. She was the woman who walked into a room and changed everything." "But," she whispered, "I don't want you to feel like you were second to my company." Ryan smiled. "I never did. Never." He held her hand. "Do you know why I stayed for 6 years?" "Because I admired you. You were powerful, brilliant, determined. You changed an entire industry." His voice softened. "I never wanted to take that away." Olivia looked at him. "Then what do you want?" Ryan smiled. "I want to come home to the CEO who changes the world. And I want to wake up with the Olivia who burns breakfast." She laughed. "You remember that?" "How could I forget?" For a moment, she just looked at him, then quietly asked, "You're really okay with me staying CEO?" "Yes." "Even if you're busy?" "Yes." "Even if you miss dinner sometimes?" He smiled. "I'll remind you." She laughed softly. "You haven't changed." "No." He looked at her. "I just finally get to do it as your husband." The next day, Olivia withdrew the resignation. The company was shocked. But the reason was even more shocking. At the executive meeting, someone asked CEO Carter, "Are you staying because of the company?" Olivia smiled. "No." "Then why?" She looked at Ryan, who was sitting beside her, not behind her. "Because I realized something." "What?" "I don't need to choose between my dream and the person I love." She continued, "The right person doesn't ask you to become smaller. They help you become more yourself." Everyone went quiet. After the meeting, Ryan walked with her. You really meant that? What you said? Yes. She smiled. Because you taught me. Taught me what? That love is not asking someone to give up their world. It's building a world where both people belong. That evening, Ryan found Olivia looking at old photos. What are you doing? She showed him one. It was from 6 years ago, her first year as CEO. She looked serious, cold, alone. I don't recognize her anymore. Ryan looked at the picture. I do. Really? Who was she? He smiled. The woman I fell in love with. Olivia looked at him. Even then, especially then, she leaned against him. Ryan, yes. Do you regret waiting 6 years? He thought for a moment, then shook his head. No. Because if I hadn't waited, I might have missed seeing you become this version of yourself. She smiled. And if you had left earlier, he answered, I might have missed seeing you choose me. The wedding day was approaching. The invitations were sent. The dress was prepared. The rings were ready. But the most important thing had already happened. 6 years ago, Ryan stood behind Olivia, protecting her, supporting her, waiting. Now, he stood beside her, choosing each other, not because they needed someone, but because they wanted someone. The night before the wedding, Olivia looked at the ring on her finger. Ryan asked, nervous? She smiled. A little. About tomorrow. No. She looked at him. About being happy. Ryan was surprised. Because I spent so long fighting for everything. She held his hand. I never learned how to simply receive happiness. Ryan smiled. Then learn it with me. And for the first time, Olivia Carter wasn't preparing for a battle. She was preparing for the beginning of her life. The wedding day arrived. Carter International had never been this quiet. Not because there was a crisis, not because of a major business decision, but because everyone was waiting for one moment. The moment when Olivia Carter, the Ice Queen CEO, would walk toward Ryan Hayes. 6 years ago, nobody believed it would happen. Everyone knew the story. The loyal assistant, the cold CEO, the man who stayed beside her, the woman who didn't realize what she had until he decided to leave. Daniel stood outside the ceremony hall, looking at the guests. Still unbelievable. Mia smiled. What? That the man who used to carry her coffee is now marrying her. Mia shook her head. That's not the unbelievable part. Then what is? She looked toward Ryan. The unbelievable part is that he waited 6 years. Ryan stood at the front, calm, confident, but nervous. Captain James walked over. Ryan. Ryan looked at him. What? 6 years ago. Nobody thought you'd get here. Ryan smiled. Me neither. Then why did you stay? Ryan looked toward the entrance. Because I loved her. The music began. Everyone stood. The doors opened. Olivia appeared. But today, she wasn't walking into a boardroom. She wasn't walking into a negotiation. She wasn't walking into a battlefield. She was walking toward the person she chose. Ryan couldn't take his eyes away. She wasn't wearing the cold expression everyone knew. She was smiling. A real smile. The same smile he had waited years to see. When she reached him, she whispered, You waited a long time. Ryan smiled. Yes. I'm sorry. He shook his head. Don't. Because you came. Her eyes turned red. The ceremony began. The officiant smiled. Today we celebrate a love story that started quietly. Not with a grand confession. Not with a perfect first meeting. But with someone choosing to stay. Ryan looked at Olivia. When it was his turn, he took her hands. Olivia, 6 years ago, I thought my job was to protect you. Your schedule. Your company. Your dreams. He smiled. But I didn't realize that one day, you would become my dream too. Everyone listened quietly. I loved you when you were the CEO everyone admired. But I also loved you when nobody saw you. When you were tired. When you were afraid. When you didn't know how to ask for help. His voice softened. You always thought you needed to be strong. But I never needed you to be stronger. I only wanted you to be happy. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. Then it was her turn. She held his hands tightly. Ryan, for 6 years, you were the person closest to me, but I was the person who understood you the least. She looked around. Everyone was silent. I thought love was about finding the perfect person. The person who matched my family, my status, my future. She looked at Ryan. I was wrong. The right person is the one who stays when they don't have to. The one who sees you when everyone else only sees your title. The one who chooses you even when you haven't chosen yourself. Her voice trembled. I almost lost you. And the hardest part was realizing I almost lost the one person who had never stopped choosing me. Ryan squeezed her hands. Today I don't choose you because you are the man who worked for me. I don't choose you because you know everything about me. She smiled. I choose you because you are the man I want beside me every morning. Every night. For the rest of my life. The rings were exchanged. When the officiant announced, "You may kiss the bride," everyone smiled. But Olivia surprised everyone before Ryan could move. She stepped forward and kissed him first. The entire room laughed and applauded. Daniel shook his head. The CEO really changed. Mia smiled. No, she just stopped hiding. After the ceremony, guests gathered around. One former employee joked, "Ryan, do you still work for CEO Carter?" Everyone laughed. Ryan looked at Olivia. She pretended to think. Everyone waited. Then she smiled. No. Ryan raised an eyebrow. No. She held his hand. He doesn't work for me anymore. A pause. He comes home with me. Everyone laughed. That evening, after everyone left, Ryan and Olivia returned to their new home. No company, no employees, no titles, just them. Olivia removed her jewelry. Ryan noticed, tired a little, regret it. She looked at him. What, marrying me? She immediately frowned. Ryan, after 6 years, do you really still ask questions like that? He laughed. She walked closer. Do you know what I regret? What? That I didn't realize sooner. Realize what? She touched his hand. That the person I was waiting for had been waiting for me all along. Ryan smiled, and she leaned against him. Now, I won't make you wait anymore. The next morning, Carter International released a surprising announcement. Not a merger, not an acquisition, but a personal statement from Olivia Carter. 6 years ago, I had someone beside me who believed in me before I believed in myself. Today, I am lucky enough to call him my husband, and everyone finally understood. Ryan was never just her assistant, never just her employee, never just the person who stood behind her. He was the person who helped the Ice Queen CEO discover something more valuable than success. A home. 1 year later, everything at Carter International had changed, and yet nothing had changed. The company was still one of the fastest-growing corporations in the country. Olivia Carter was still its CEO. The board still feared her. Investors still admired her. Competitors still called her the Ice Queen. But every morning at exactly 7:30, the security guards witnessed the same scene. A black sedan stopped at the front entrance. Ryan stepped out first, walked around the car, opened the passenger door, and waited, just like he had done for 6 years. Except now there was one difference. Instead of saying, "Good morning, CEO Carter," he smiled and said, "Good morning, honey." Olivia laughed every single time. One new employee whispered, "Does Mr. Hayes still open the car door every day?" Daniel overheard and smiled. "He doesn't have to." "Then why does he?" Daniel looked through the glass doors. "Because some habits begin as responsibility and stay because of love." Inside the lobby, Olivia stopped walking. She looked at Ryan. "You know, you really don't need to keep opening doors for me." Ryan smiled. "I know." "Then why?" He looked at her. "Because 6 years ago, I opened doors hoping you would notice me." He gently squeezed her hand. "Now I open them because I still enjoy taking care of my wife." Olivia's heart softened. Even after a year of marriage, he was still the same Ryan. Gentle, patient, steady. That afternoon, a group of new management trainees toured the headquarters. One of them quietly asked Mia, "Excuse me, is it true Mr. Hayes used to work directly for CEO Carter?" Mia smiled. "Yes." "As her assistant?" "No." "As her executive secretary?" "No." "Then what?" Mia laughed. "He was the person who reminded the CEO to eat." The trainee looked confused. "That's all." Mia shook her head. "No. He also reminded her to rest, to smile, to go home. And eventually, he reminded her how to love." That evening, Ryan waited outside Olivia's office. Old habits never disappeared. When she walked out, he naturally reached for her briefcase. She refused. I can carry it. I know. Then let me. Ryan smiled. Only if we carry it together. She looked at him, then laughed. Deal. So each of them held one handle, walking side by side, neither leading, neither following. On the drive home, Olivia suddenly looked out the window. Ryan, do you remember the day you resigned? He smiled. How could I forget? She lowered her eyes. I hated you that day. Ryan laughed. I know. No. She shook her head. I hated myself. He looked at her. Because I watched the most important person in my life walk away. And I almost let him. Ryan reached over at the red light and held her hand. But you didn't. She smiled. No. I ran after you. When they arrived home, package was waiting at the door. Ryan picked it up. What is it? Olivia smiled mysteriously. Open it. Inside was a small photo album. Ryan slowly turned the pages. The first photo. The company orientation 6 years ago. He stood quietly behind Olivia. She didn't even know his name yet. The second. A company charity event. She was speaking on stage. He was waiting off stage with her coat. The third. The day she announced her engagement. His smile looked calm, but now she knew how much pain was hidden behind it. The fourth. A slightly wrinkled wedding dress. Taken the night she knocked on his apartment door. Ryan looked up. You kept this. She nodded. I almost threw it away. Why didn't you? She smiled softly. Because it reminds me of the night I stopped choosing the life everyone wanted and started choosing the life I wanted. The last page was empty. Ryan looked at her. No picture. Not yet. She took out a small envelope. Inside was an ultrasound photo. Ryan froze. His breathing stopped. He looked at her. Olivia. She nodded. We're going to have a baby. For several seconds, he couldn't speak. The man who had calmly negotiated billion-dollar contracts was completely speechless. Finally, he laughed, then cried at the same time. You planned this. She smiled. I wanted today's photo to be our newest beginning. Ryan gently hugged her, careful as if she were the most precious thing in the world. I love you. I know. No. He smiled through tears. I don't think you know. She looked up. Then tell me. He touched her forehead gently. I loved you when you were my CEO. I loved you when you became my girlfriend. I loved you when you became my wife. He placed a hand gently over hers. And now I already love the little family we're becoming. Tears filled Olivia's eyes. You know something? What? I spent years trying to build the perfect company. She smiled at him, resting her hand over the ultrasound picture. But this is the greatest thing I've ever built. Months later, their daughter was born. Ryan held the tiny baby carefully. Olivia smiled from the hospital bed. So, who does she look like? Ryan looked at the baby, then at Olivia. Hopefully you. She laughed. I hope she has your heart. Years later, their daughter would often ask, Dad, were you really Mom's employee? Ryan would smile. For a while. Then what happened? Before he could answer, Olivia would walk over, wrap an arm around his shoulder, and answer for him. He resigned. The little girl would blink. Then why did you marry him? Olivia would kiss Ryan's cheek. Because I finally realized the man I was searching for had been standing beside me all along. Sometimes life doesn't change because someone new walks in. Sometimes life changes because you finally see the person who never walked away. And for Olivia Carter, the resignation letter she once believed was the end turned out to be the beginning of the happiest chapter of her life.